Namaste. This is Menka Soni talking to Unnati Diaries. Unnati, well, that means progress. And if I have to define that progress, I would say it's a circle. You know how it revolves and how it comes back to you is a kind of a full circle that it takes to call as an Unnati. And I would say Unnati for women is not simple because it's not just simple progress. This progress comes from double, triple, in fact, as many numbers as you want to add to this with those hurdles. And she has to pass through each of those hurdles to make progress. So the Unnati for women is, in a real sense, is something that has been accomplished big, and we all women have to take pride in this. So today when I'm sharing my story, it is not just my story. Perhaps I would say it's a story of many of other women, those who have been here around. It's like, you talk to one woman or you talk to another one. Almost their stories would be somewhat similar because they all have gone through those hurdles to come on this path of progress or Unnati. So, I just have some kind of a particular flavors or some personal things to share in this monologue. So that's what I'm going to share here. If I have to go back on my journey when I was in India, and so I was born in Agra, and I was the fifth girl in the family. So of course, wasn't given a pretty warm welcome at that time, being the fifth girl in the family. And the hopes were that there will be a boy. And fortunately to my mom, I was born. I shouldn't say unfortunate because I think I take pride for being the fifth daughter in the family. And I love my family. I have a very strong bond with all my sisters and my family. So all my schooling was in Agra and Lucknow, and then I completed my MBA. And from there, when I started working, perhaps I was the first girl in the entire family who took extra steps to come out. It's like, all my sisters, they have been professionally qualified, but none of them, they were allowed to go outside and work. And for me, it's like, I think, just because I was a little bit rejected while at the birth itself. So, I became a kind of a little revolutionary, and I decided I'm going to break those barriers. So, when after doing my job, I wanted to do my MBA. And that's the time my father said, if you get overqualified, then I won't be able to find a suitable boy for you. It will be very hard. And another question that came to his mind was it would be an injustice to rest of my daughters. But again, I said fortunate to my mom, because my mom was always there to back up and to support me. She decided, no, I need to study. And I was allowed to do my MBA. And I did my MBA both in finance as well as in marketing. And from there, again, I got a job with Concord Motors, which was Tata Jardine and International. And, I started working. And during this time, actually, I met my now husband, Ashish, and we decided to get married, and we got married. And right after we got married, I had to move to Pune, where the struggle started, because for the first time, I was leaving not only my parents' home, but also my husband's home, because I was staying in the hostel. Then finally, I was alone in Pune right after a marriage, and my husband joined. And then once he joined, then we were given an opportunity, both of us were given an opportunity to work for an IT company. And from there, it's we moved to US, and then, it has been a wonderful journey in US so far. So in US, we were originally in Michigan, where we both were working for General Motors. And probably that's the time, the struggles didn't end, because after moving here, I had to leave my 1-year-old, my daughter Asa, in India. I could not bring her because of my visa issues. So I used to travel almost every 3 months. And then there was a kind of a lot of adjustment that I had to do here in US with a new job, new environment, new culture. But I think I had the most wonderful time in those years when we developed great friendships, and we could understand what the struggle actually mean. But we used to enjoy that struggle, and the things were going well out in Michigan, and then we had to move to Seattle because Ashish got a job in Microsoft, and I was working with Starbucks, so I moved here. So we started on a kind of a new journey. But then I definitely for me, the struggles, they have to keep coming in. So there was another struggle that came in, and that was because of my visa issue. It's basically I was on an H1. I did not had any more time left on my H1 to continue working. So, and I did not had a green card. So I was forcefully made to sit at home at that time. Trust me, that force was kind of if I would have left my job and my own wish, the things would have been different. But because I was forced to leave the job and sit at home, I just felt I've lost my identity. I've just felt I don't even know what I'm doing it. So, that was the time I started thinking about several other women, those who are at home, and they have talent, they have skills, but they are not getting right opportunity to come out. And unfortunately, in this country, people, those who are specifically women, those who have been on an H4 visa, they were not given enough options to work. It's that wasn't allowed. It's now in last couple of years only when EAD is allowed for women to work on an H4. But yeah, that time it wasn't allowed, and I was really surprised to see so many women, those who are coming from premier institutes from India like IIT, etc., and they were still sitting at home. They were not even allowed to work. So that's the time when I decided that I'm going to do something in this regard. And perhaps I think it was in my destiny, and it's just like the universe was showing me some kind of a path to follow these directions, because that's the time when I launched our ravishing brand. So that's the time when we launched actually our first fashion brand in US. Ravishing Handicrafts, and then it was named as Ravishing Marketplace when we had a brick and a mortar store where we allowed several women and to come and showcase their businesses, their services, and so that there is a kind of a concept where several women can come together and work. So the journey from there also started another beautiful journey of Ravishing Women, which was a non-profit organization that we launched in 2013. And that's the time when we did our first pageant. And I still remember the very first year when we hosted that, the idea was not just to showcase beauty, because that's where when we launched Ravishing Women of the Day, where we used to share all the blogs and stories of different women, those who are doing so wonderful. Just like what Unnati is doing it right now. We actually started in 2013. And that's the time we started sharing blog posts for several women, and it was very encouraging and very inspiring. Trust me, the very first year when we did this award or this recognition or the felicitation on the stage, I had several women, those who came down with tears. They said, nobody patted our back so far. So that was highly inspiring, and that inspired us to do even more. And from there we never looked back. And been completed so many years with this, and this brand has just grown bigger and bigger and bigger. In fact, we provided a launch pad for many more to follow. So that was the time. It's introducing everything for the first time in Seattle. From there we started our fashion shows. In fact, I don't even remember how many fashion shows we have done in Seattle. And there was a time, it's almost every week we would be doing 2 or 3 runway shows. And I from a designer world, and I did represent it in several fashion shows as the designers, and we were invited to Chance Fashion and several other premier fashions. In fact, I've been one of the feature designers in Seattle Fashion Week, which is like I took our Indian clothing and I took our Indian models to give them a kind of a taste being on this kind of a ramp and a platform. So yeah, when we started with the fashion part, so from a fashion to pageant, and today I take pride to be the CEO and founder for North America Fashion Week, which is one of the biggest fashion week in this Northwest area. And we have been doing it so big. This has actually created a market for people to come from all over the world. So last year when we had over 35 international designers, and that also included some of the reputed designers like Neeta Lula, Rohit Verma, Prashant, Nidhi Asha, and a lot more. They traveled from India to participate in this runway show. It became talk of the town. And there were it has also promoted even sustainable fashion. It's fashion is becoming a reason for us to start having these conversations. So we had a panel discussion where we talked about this thing. And it's just again providing an opportunities even for an upcoming designers to showcase their clothing, to showcase their work. And when you do a fashion week, it's you're bringing so many people together. There were over 75 to 80 models. Then there are over 40 hair and makeup artists participating. Then you have so many designers, those who are coming. There are so many volunteers, those who are helping us in different areas. And on top of that, I think it's also people, those who are coming and seeing this thing. Fashion Week is a reason for us to make sure that we bring multiculturalism, and that's what has been there and has been supported by city as well and all the dignitaries. So I'm very thankful to them. The social causes that we have been working through a non-profit organization, Empowering. One of them is definitely providing food and groceries in this pandemic to the vulnerable communities and the people, those who are in need. So, to be very honest, it's every week over 2,500 to 3,000 people, we are feeding it through our program. And it's not just food and the grocery, it's basically we are providing them any kind of an assistance that they may need. Even we have been paying the rent and the utilities and providing them education, mentoring, or whatever way they are asking. And sometimes it's even just listening to them. I think that's a kind of a bigger service that almost all of us need it, because that talks about mental health, and somebody should be there to talk to them and listen to them. So outside this program, we are also working on another initiatives, and one of them is a school for the slum area girls in India. And we have also launched another program where we are giving meals to people only with for 5 rupees. So basically we pay 75 rupees per meal, and we charge only 5 rupees. And this meal is actually offered to people, those who are street businesses, or the rickshawalas, or the maids, etc. People those who are really working hard. So for them, it's a kind of a blessing that they are getting, along with the feel of dignity. It's that they are not getting this as just as a donation, but they are buying their food. And the third program that we are running is called as an Empower Up. Basically, we are helping people to earn with dignity. So we are creating projects for them so that they can earn instead of just asking money. And not only we support work done by our organization, we have been very supportive of work done by the other non-profit and the charity organizations. For example, we support Bloodworks, where we are helping with their blood drive campaigns. And we do support all the healthcare through this COVID. We have been providing a lot of support to them in terms of providing them masks and food and a lot of other help as they need it. We do support API Chaya, which is from since 2013, when our program was originally a fundraising for API Chaya. Since then, we have maintained our relationships and we have been supporting this organization. to protect violence against women. We have supported all other local charity organizations, and we have done fundraising for almost so many organizations in Seattle, like, from Amrita Seattle to Cry to Asha, Sophia Way, and these are just a few ones to name. And that's where we keep supporting other organizations as well. Yeah, a lot of people, they keep asking me how many things you do, so, and how many hours in a day you have that you're able to accomplish everything. So I'm a corporate person, I'm a real estate broker, I am president for a non-profit organization, which is like 24/7 job to me. Then I also have my own event center, and I'm a lot into an event management, which I do it very, very passionately. And I also serve in several city boards as my community responsibility. So, and outside these, I'm still a mother of two, and I have to take care of my family. I have to take care of all house chores like any other woman. So, in terms of managing all these work, I am able to do it because I want to do it. So it's just like, when there is a will, there is a way, and I just do it. So what inspires me the most? I think, my inspiration comes from within. It's just like I follow my heart. And when I see more empowered women, I think that's where my inspiration lies. And when I see that there is a need, that inspires me to do more. And, the people around me, I think they also inspire me. So I think, I draw my inspiration from almost every source. It's like there is so much to learn from almost everyone. So there is never any shortage of inspiration. It is just like, we have to keep our heart open to receive that inspiration. So that's how when I said it comes from here. So if it is open, it will draw inspiration from anywhere, anytime. One message that I would like to give to any other woman is that we as women have to hold each other's hand. It's like when one woman fails, it's a failure for all of us. So instead of just looking at her with or making fun of that woman, I think it's important for us to give her a hand, help her to rise again, because nobody else will come to help a woman to rise other than another woman. So I think it's very important that we tell to each other that we are growing to grow together. It's not that you are growing me or I am growing you, we are growing together. So let's hold our hand and grow together.